Hi guys, it's been a while since my last video tutorial, and today we will learn about shell scripting. So what is shell scripting? Basically, it is a text file ended with sh extension, and it contains a list of commands, and it is used in Linux operating system, and of course it can also be used in Mac OS and Windows OS as well. So now let's get started. So you might have seen that people are using touch command to create a new file, and that's something we will learn as well in this crash course. Okay, so now let's get started with this, and here this is the empty folder called script, right? And first thing that we will need to do is to click on the terminal up here, and then click on the new terminal. So right now I'm running on Mac OS. So what are we going to do is we want to create a new file, right? So in the Visual Studio Code, you can basically click on this button and then give a name of the file, right? But now let's try using the command instead. So it will be touch and give the file a name. So I'm gonna call this as script.sh. all right, and let's have a look here. The file has been created. Okay, so now what are we going to do is to let's just quickly write a few commands right here. So to first off, we will need to use this command here. So the #, exclamation mark, and bin /bash, right? So this just want to let the operating system know that this is the executable file. Okay, so now let's just save this, and now what I'm going to do is to run this script here. So this will be / and then the name of the file. It will be script.sh. When I hit enter, then you can see that it says permission denied. So that means we have to quickly look at the permission of this file right here. So to see the permission, it will be ls and then -l. So this is basically listing all of the file and directory, and this is referring to the long format. So we want to see. So let's just quickly do ls first, and you can see we have only one file in this folder. So we can only see one. And now if I do -l here, we can see it in a long form. So it contains like the permissions, the name, right, and time here as well. So now we need to change this, right, to the permission that allow us to run this script. So this will be chmod, and then this will be 775, and the name of the file, which is script.sh. Okay, so now when I press enter, then let's try this command again, and now you can see it changed from just read only, right, to also executable and also writable as well. So now we have all of the permission that we want, and in this tutorial we are not focusing on this right here, but in future video tutorial I will cover the chmod with different numbers, with different permissions. But for now, let's just leave it like this, and let's continue with our script crash course here. So now let's try to, of course, run this command again to see if we still get the permission denied issue. So now let's try this, and right here it just shows that it's bad interpreter, because actually there's nothing happening. But for now the issue has been resolved as seen here, right? So let's just try to run echo. It's just like we want to print something, right? So now let's just say hello world, right? Hello world. Let's try to run this again, and this time indeed we see the message that we want, which is hello world. So now let's try something else. it will be this time the variable. So variable is basically like a small place, to hold the string, or it can be like number, right? So to write the variable in script, in shell scripting, we usually do it with the capital letters and equal. So what are we going to store? Let's just store a name. I'm going to store this as Jack, and then echo my name is Jack. So to print the value inside this variable, we use the $sign, right? So now let's try and run this again, and here it is. We see the my name is Jack, and there are actually multiple ways to use the variable, right? Just to show the what value inside this variable. So this is another way to write the same thing but different syntax. So name, we wrap this with the double quote. So this one here actually equivalent to this one up here. So let's try run it again. Yes, we get the same result, and this is another way. So it will be, let's just say my name is, this time we use the curly bracket and then the name of the variable. Let's try and run this again. Of course we see two of these at the same time, but let's just try to comment this one out, and now we still see the same result, right? So you can write either one of the format here. So now let's try to comment this and quickly look into the input right now. So we want to get the value from the user input. So how do we do it? We use the keyword read and -p, okay, and then right here we can just write what are you learning, and then we want to store the user input into a variable, right? So let's just try and put this variable the same, called name, and we want to echo out. So now I use the first format here, actually the second format here with the double quote. So the name of the user input here, whatever that the user input, then it will show here, is a powerful programming language. All right, so let's just quickly save this and run this again, and now we can get the user input. So what are you learning? I'm going to say this as shell scripting. So once I hit enter, then now you can see shell scripting is a powerful programming language, right? So we can just enter anything here actually. So let's try and running this again. Let's just say C# or maybe PHP. Okay, so now we can see the expected result. So let's just comment this, and next we want to look at the if-else statement. So we'll be use this variable name. Let's just use my name here, and then here this is how we write the if condition. So let's just try using the name. Whenever we use the if statement, we have to use this square bracket, right? And I want to check if the name is actually Hong. If so, then I want to echo this, your name is Hong. And don't forget to end this with the fi. So if we start this with if, right, then we write it backward, right? So now let's just save this and then try and run this. So here it checked. Actually, this is correct. So it's true, right? Because the variable here store the string Hong, and it's equal to Hong. Then my name is actually Hong. So if I try to actually, let's just leave it like that, and we actually look into the if else statement. So we will write a different condition. Right now we only have one, right? So if it is actually true or not, then just show this, but actually it's supposed to have another one. can be saying that your name is not Hong, right? So now let's just comment this simple one for now, and let's look at the if else. And this time, instead of using the string, let's try using it with number. So let's just use this age, put as 17, and if, okay, make sure that you leave a space here. And now let's start using this variable age. This time we are no longer using the double equal sign. Okay, so because we are now not working with string, right? We are working with number. So with number, it's something different. So if we want to check whether the age is greater than or equal to, then we need to use something like this, dash, greater than or equal to. This is the command that we need to use, right? So we need to check whether the age here is greater than or equal to 18. If so, then we want to echo out, actually this in a new line, you can vote now. Otherwise, right? Otherwise here else, you will be saying you cannot vote yet. Don't forget, end this with fi, just to end the if statement. And save this, try and run this again. You cannot vote yet, because right here just showing 17 years old. What about if I put this as 18? Run again, you can vote now. Or maybe I can change this to 30. Try running again. Now we get this, right? Or if I change this to 16, then we get into this condition, because of course 16 is not greater than 18, then it means this is false, and it will go to this statement. It's just showing that you cannot vote yet. So this is how the if statement work in shell scripting. Next one here, I want to show you the actually working with number. We have a different command. So this is checking whether the number here is greater or equal to, right? Greater than or equal to. And there's also the others as well. Here, if you want to check if one number is greater than, right? So you will need to use this command, right? Greater than. And if you want to check if it is less than, then this is the command that you can use, right? Less than. And if it is less than or equal to, then it's similar to this one here, less than or equal to. So this is the command that you will need to use, okay? And one more, if you want to check if the two numbers are equal, right? So you can use this command here. This is checking if this number is equal to this number, okay? So these are the commands that you can use when working with the number for comparisons. So now I want to show you actually using the right here, the equal to. So let's just do something similar. Age 17, if age equal to 10, then we want to show you are 10 years old. And then else if, right? So else if, this is the syntax. And now we want to check this. If age this time is equal to, let's just say 20, and we want to echo this out, saying you are 20 years old. And also make sure we need to use the keyword then, right? So if then, else if then, and then down here will be else if these two are not correct or false, then we want to say you are either 10 nor 20 years old. And then we end this with the, of course, fi. So now let's try and test this with age 10. So now you see it's equal to the first condition. It's true, right? And it's showing you are 10 years old. And if I change this to 20, and it's showing you are 20 years old. In this case, this is the this statement is correct, right? And if I change this to 17, which is this is false, and also this condition is also false, right? So it will show this one instead. Let's try that. You are either 10 or 20 years old. Okay, so this is how you work with if statement, and of course you can write more else inside this if condition, if statement here as well. Okay, so we have looked at the if else statement, and next I want to show you is to work with files or directory. Okay, so now let's comment this out, and then let's try working with the file. So I will create a new file. Let's just use the command touch and give the file a name. It will be testfile.js. You can also write any file extension you like, right? So in this case, I just use the JavaScript file extension. So here, once we have this created, so next I want to create a new variable called my file equal to, let's just store this text inside this variable, right, called testfile.js. And once we have that, we can start using this variable to check to work with the file. We use the -f, right? So -f here is check if it is a file. So now we can just start start using the variable here. So this one here, my file, and next is to echo out this name, right, is a file type. If not, else echo out my file is not a file type, and make sure to end this if, right? So now we create this simple command just to check whether the file is actually exists or it is actually the file type or not. Let's run this command here, and you can see this command create a new file here called testfile.js, and then it check whether this file here, we just provide a name here, right? So we check whether this actually a file type or not. If yes, then it's showing this one here is a file type. Otherwise, it shows it's not a file type. And another one you can also use to work with file is the -e. So -e here, it check if the file exists or not. So now let me try. Yep, let's just change the text here as well. So this one here, it say exist, and this one here it says does not exist. All right, so now let's just have a look here. Yep, look good to me. So let's just quickly run this one again. So here it says that the testfile.js exists, right? Because we have this created. So what if instead of creating a new file every time, first let's just remove this. So to remove a file, we use this command here, rm testfile.js, right? So the name of the file, and then we want to remove this file. Let's try running it again. So the file has been deleted, and then we want to check this whether the file name testfile.js exists or not. then here we see that it does not exist because we have already removed it, right? And it goes to this condition showing that this is does not exist. So that's how you work with the file. Again, -E is to check whether the file exists or not, and -F to see if the file is actually a file type. Okay, so this is now we work with the of course the file type. Next, I want to show you is to get the user input, but this time we are using the case statement. Okay, so now let's just try with this get the input from user. So -P are you an iPhone user, and then we want to get the input from user. It can be either Y or N, and we want to store the record, right? Store the user input, put it into this variable called record and case. So we use this one here, right, in the case here. Then in. So down here we can start if this user input is Y, or this one is small letter or capital letter, it accepts this one both, right? Or in case user actually write something else, like say yes with capital letter, I will show you in a minute, but for now, yep, let's just try writing this. User can either write small e or capital E, right? And the same for the S, can be small s or capital S. And then we can just show the echo, just saying like me too, I'm also the iPhone users. And make sure after this one here you need to use the parenthesis. It's looking a little bit weird, right? Because it's not starting with that, but it has to be ended with the parenthesis at the end here. And then after the echo, we need to use the double semicolon. So that is the syntax when using with the case statement here. So this one here, when the user actually press no, right? Or can be small n or capital N, O here, and close this with the parenthesis. And we want to show something to the user. Unfortunately, am an Android user. So now we have this and this as well, and make sure to use this star and the closing the with the parenthesis here. And we want to show it actually similar to if else statement here. So if the above is not true, at the end else, right, then we write something here. So here it's just saying you must enter, let's just write everything, can be anything, right? Camel case or just small letter or and no, or like this, and then double semicolon, and make sure to end this case. So we write it backward, it will be ESAC. So let's try and run this quickly to see. Yep, are you an iPhone user? If I press Y, small letter or capital letter will also work fine. Let's try this. Me too. Okay, so now I write the capital letter, yes, me too. Try it again with the word yes. It's still working fine, right? So let's try a few of this. What if I write like this? It still works fine. Okay, so now let's try using the and. It says, unfortunately, I'm an Android user. And if I write no, we still get the same result, and capital letter, yep, we still get this as expected. What if I write something else? So just write nothing. Okay, so then it goes to this condition saying you must enter Y, yes, right, or N or no here. So that is how you write or use the case statement in shell scripting. So now I will show you is to work with the for loop. So for loop, we can just write number, and we store a list of number, right? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like this. Okay, you can also write it like using a person name as well, but in this tutorial let's just use this number. I want to loop through list of this. So to use the for loop will be 4 and then number. So the number here is actually not the one that you've seen here, right, without s. So this is basically a new variable, right? In now we can start using this. Of course, when we start using the variable, we have to start with the $, and then just do, and we want to echo this one, which is the number, the text that we want to show, and then each number. So each number that it loop through, then it will show one by one. Okay. So now if we want to stop using the for, instead of writing it backward, then we just use the word done. So that's done looping, right? So number, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and this is how the number is shown. Okay. So yep, that is a simple for loop. Now I want to show you is the function. So working with function, let's just start writing the function. So similar to other languages like JavaScript, we use the keyword function and give the function a name. Let's just call this simple function. Okay, and I want to just show something here. My first function in shell script, and to use this function, we simply call this function here. So simple function without the parentheses. Okay, so just write like that, then it should work fine. Let's try running it. Now we see that my first function in shell scripting. Okay, so this simple function is working fine. I want to work with function as well, but this time working with the parameters. So let's just do function param. This is the name of the function. Echo this one. Let's just print out something. First parameter is 1 and second parameter is 2. So when working with the parameter in shell script, this is how you use it, right? Writing the number instead of like giving a name, right? So $, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, so forth. Down here to use the function or to call it, let's just do function param, and then this one here, this is the first parameter. Let's just say hello, and then this is the second parameter is hi, right? So now let's try running this, and here we can see first parameter is hello and second parameter is hi. So it's working, right? Normally in other languages you just write the parentheses and then give like the first parameter, second one, and the same for the when we call it, when we try to use it, right? But here this is how you write it. Okay, so now we have looked into the function as well. Next is try to create a new folder and also create a new file, and also get the text, put it inside that file as well. So how do we do it? Let's try to use this command here to create a new folder or directory. We use mkdir and then give a name of the folder. Let's just call this as new folder, right? New folder. And then touch here, we are creating a new file. So where is the file going to be located in? It's located under this folder called new folder. So let's give the file a name. Let's just simply call it file.txt. So this is text file, and we want to echo, right? So echo the text. Actually, we want to write this text here inside that file. So let's just write some random text. So this text here will be inputted into the file called file.txt. So to write something into the file, this is the symbol that you have to use. Okay, so double character, then sign. So now we will pointing the new folder and then file.txt. Once we have that, we want to echo out saying that created the folder and file with new text. So what is the new text? It is this text here. And once we have that, then yeah, that's basically it. Let's just try running it. In here we can see created folder with the file and file with new text. So the folder here is created, and then the file here as well, right? And this text is written inside this file called some random text. And what happened if I try running this script again? So here we can see that we get this error actually saying that the file actually exists. So how do we get rid of the error when we run this twice? There are actually a command that you can use, right? So after making the directory, we can use the here -p command just to, now let's just try running it again, see if we get that error. Okay, so now it's gone, right? So take a look here in the file, and you can see it's appending into the file. And in a minute, I will also show you without having to use this keyword appending, but we want to add a new every time to the file, right, without appending. So we'll show you that as well. Now let's try to comment this out. So we work with this. Next I want to show you is to check whether the directory or the folder exists or not. And also we add a new function as well, just to get the user input with the folder name that they want to check whether the folder is exists or not, right? So now let's try using the echo. We get the user input. So enter folder name to check. Down here will be we're reading, right? So reading the user input. Let's call this variable folder name. And now we can just use the if, and this time we are working with directory, so it will be -d. Okay, similar to what we looked earlier using trying to check with the file. So now we can use this. It will be the folder name, right, from the user, and then we echo saying that the folder name already exists, else echo saying that folder name does not exist, and the if here. Now let's try and running this. So enter a folder name to check. Now we have one folder, right? Folder called new folder. Let's try and check that one. So new folder, and says that new folder already exists. And if I were to type something else, let's just say old folder, right? This one doesn't exist. and then we get this old folder does not exist. It goes to this condition. Okay, so this is another one to check the folder name, to check the folder if that exists or not. Next is I want to actually create a new file with the user input. So let's just do echo enter a file name to create and read the file name from the user. Okay, so the file name, and then we want to simply create the file based on the user input, right? So very simple like that. Yeah, let's try and running this. Enter a file name to create, then I can just enter new file.txt. Once I enter that, you can now see this file is created. It's simple as that, right? Okay, so I think right now let's try working with this command. I think this will be the last one. So what I want to do is to allow user to enter any text to append to a file that already exists. Okay, so now let's try to create a new file called testfile.txt. Actually, this one here I can just simply remove it first. So to remove this, OM, and then the name of the file, it's called, right, new file.txt. Let's just run this. The file is deleted, right? So now let's continue with this. So we want to create a new file called testfile.txt and echo this to the user. Enter file name you want to append, and we get this from the user. So stored in the variable called file name. If now we can start checking it. So if file name, then echo says the enter any tag you want to append to the file, and read this one here is another variable, right? Also getting from the user. So put it into this variable called text. It's capital letter, and now we want to start appending the text here, getting from the user to the file name here. Okay, so now let's try using the text and putting using the here it's appending, right? So file name, we want to append the text getting from the user to the file name that the user enter that want to append to. Okay, so now we have that. We want to echo and say that is completed, right? So it's done appending, and now I want to use the else and echoing this out. So this one here, it actually exists, right? Then it do these commands. If it doesn't exist, then the file name here does not exist, and this with fi. Okay, so now let's try using this. Run it. A new file is created called testfile.txt, and now I can enter file name I want to append. So if I were to enter something else, right, random text txt, it says that it doesn't exist. Now run it again, and now we use this file test file.txt. This time it exists, then it go to this command showing enter any text to append to the file. So now there's nothing in here, right? So if I start writing some text here, and let's find out, right? So it just actually saying my new text. hit enter, and it's showing this as done. And also inside the file, it actually appending the file into this file, right? It actually appending this text here, my new text inside this file, okay? And it's showing it's done. So what happened if I running it again, but this time I write something else? So my this is the file name, testfile.txt. The text I want to append, let's just say this is my second time appending the file. Okay, so now it's append. You can see this is the first line, this is the second one. Let's do it again. My third time, and yeah, actually it's the folder name, testfile.txt, my third time. Okay, so you can see that it's working fine, right? So now instead of just writing it to a file without knowing whether it's successful or not, or what are the texts that is written to the file, right? The new one with the existing text. So I want to actually read that as well. So just to show everything here, after writing a new tag, right? After appending a new tag to the file, I want to also get all of the text inside that particular file here, shown it to me as well. So then it means I have to write something else here, just to echo out reading text from file. So to read text from file, I can use while loop. Okay, so while loop read dash or. Here we want to read something, right? So give this a name, call this as current line, and do. Down here will be echo using this variable current line. We want to basically loop through the line, loop through the file line by line. And once that is done, we can put done, but here after the keyword done, instead of using this, right? So this is, we want to write something to the file, but now we want to read something from the file. So it will be using this right here. So it reverse, right? Now we can start using this variable called file name. Okay, so reading this line by line, and once that's done, it just show it to me line by line. Now let's run it again. The file name testfile.txt. Enter any text. Actually, yep, it's appending. Now let's see what else. This is the third time. Let's do fourth time. Hit enter, and here we can see it's not showing anything. Yep, actually we are not using this correctly, right? Let's try running it again. It will be testfile.txt, and this is going to be the fifth time. Let's just say random text. Okay, so now hit enter. It's showing done, reading text from file. Okay, so now we see this text line by line, right? Actually everything is shown in this console as well. So once that is completed, yep, that is done. We can when working with the reading the file, something that you can use is to use this if, right? So when using this, it's dealing with the some white space. This one here actually equivalent to the empty string here. But in this tutorial, let's just keep it as simple as this. And then what else do I want to do? Something that I can try. So this time been working with appending the file, right? But what if I don't want to append a file? Instead, I want to have the completely new text without appending. So it's very simple. Instead of like using this double greater than sign, we just use one like this. So it will be enter any text to add to the file. Okay, and then yep, let's try it again. Enter any, it will be test file.txt. Enter any text you want to add to the file. So here, this is the existing text, right? So now if I write completely new text without appending, hit enter, and here it deleted the existing one and only come with this one. So this time without appending the file when we use this, right, sign. So I can try one more time. Test file.txt, new text. It will remove this one here and only edit this. Okay, so yep, reading text from file, and it also showing the text here, right? So yep, that is working fine. Maybe I can try to add something else, right? Right here, just saying echo. We can do like create or things like adding new text, something like this. And once that's done, adding the new text, then it's showing done, and then it start reading. Okay, so yeah, that's something that you can play around with. And then let's just say this time my final text. Okay, so it's saying adding new text, done, reading from the file, and it's showing the text inside the file to me. Okay, so yeah, that's is basically it. How you can work using the shell script to work with this different commands, right? We can give commands, we can create new file, we can use if-else statement or case statement, working with the for loop functions, and there are more here, right? Like checking whether the full name already exists or not, and there's a lot more that we have covered in this tutorial, right? So hope you understand what is the purpose of using this. Again, it's contain a list of commands that we want the operating system to do some stuff that we prefer, right? So this is a very simple one, like creating the file, checking the file. There's actually a lot more, and let me know if you want to see more tutorial about this. I will also create based on your request. We can also use this with API call as well, right? Like downloading the file from the internet and then showing whatever inside that file to the screen here, right? There are a lot of possibility when working with the shell scripting. So I hope you learn a lot from this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions, and until then, see you guys in the next video.